Hello and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Centenary Shield, which brings us to Belfast in Northern Ireland. We are at Blanchflower Park, home of Northern Ireland Football League Championship side Harland and Wolf Welders. It's Northern Ireland against Wales. Last week Northern Ireland were defeated, a narrow loss for them at the hands of Scotland. Can they bounce back? They face a very difficult opponent in the Welsh side, who are taking part in their first game of the Centenary Shield of 2022. A short while ago I caught up with the managers to find out how they're feeling before tonight's game. Frankie, after last week's defeat, important to get back on the right track tonight?
Definitely, they tried to bounce back. Disappointing defeat, to be honest. I thought we were the better team, but unfortunately the old name of the game put the ball in the net. And fair play to Scotland, they got a couple of chances and scored a few good goals.
Now, you know, in this competition no one's going to make it easy for you.
No.
Wales won't do either. What sort of match are you expecting?
I expect an Irish League match. It's going to be a battle out there. They'll play a lot of long balls, I anticipate. They've had done the last 3 or 4 years, so it's by winning that second ball around the middle of the park and maybe trying to capitalise and play a bit of football in their half. You've
got a lot of time with these players in the build-up to it. What has the preparation been like, and how much does that, hopefully from a Northern Ireland perspective, give you an advantage?
I think it does, because unlike all the other nations, we see them every Sunday up in Marfelt in Meadowbank. A great facility. We plug for Meadowbank there, but so we get to know them and they get to know us, and we can work with them then every Sunday in the way we want them to play. So it does help us every year. And
you must love doing this job as much as the players seem to love showing up for it. How special is the Centenary Shield?
Well, it's a fantastic. It's an honour to be the manager of the best players in Northern Ireland. So they enjoy it. I enjoy it. You know, we're all school teachers at the end of the day, all the backroom staff, and you're playing with the elite and you're working with the elite. So, and you're playing against the elite, you know, of England, Scotland, Wales, and the Republic of Ireland. So it's very special.
We'll go through the team news shortly for all our viewers, but one name that isn't available for you again tonight is Patrick Kelly. He'll be hoping to play in the League Cup final here on Sunday for Coleraine against Cliftonville at Windsor Park. But how big a miss is he?
Oh, he's a big miss, and he's a great player, and he's been training with us. Didn't train on Sunday, obviously, but big miss. You know, he was very good in Jersey. I feel sorry for him, but I understand it. And Oren, as a fellow teacher, had a good chat with Oren on the way back from Marfelt on Sunday. There was just too much at stake for Coleraine. It's a big match for winning the League Cup, and I fully understand it. But hopefully, maybe in England, I might have another chat with Oren to get him back in.
And I believe he's here tonight watching.
He's here, and it's great to see him, and the boys are delighted to see him. So he came in the change room there to give us support.
So you're expecting a physical contest. What's the message for the players? You want them to enjoy themselves, but I know you're a competitive person.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a cup final. This is our cup final. You know, I know Bobby Burns, who played with us the previous time we won the Centenary Shield. We were beaten by the Republic in the first match and went on to win the rest of the 3 matches and won the Shield. So it can be done. You know, it's a bit of an uphill struggle, make no bones about it, but it starts tonight. If we get 3 points, then we play England in 2 weeks' time here.
Mark, welcome to Belfast. I'm sure you're looking forward to getting playing tonight.
Yeah, it's been, you know, a long couple of years with COVID. You know, I think our last international game was, you know, here in, I think we played in Crusaders and or Cliftonville. And, you know, watched the game last week. Know what Northern Ireland are all about. You know, being in the Frank there. You know, tough nut to crack, and I think it'll be the same tonight.
They said it's going to be a bit like an Irish League game, a physical game. Are your boys ready for the physicality?
Yeah, we've briefed them on, you know, Frankie's methods, and you know, known Frankie a long time now, and know his style of play. So yeah, it's going to be a battle. You know, the games are tight. Like we've seen last week, you know, the forthcoming games as well. They'll all be close encounters, and you know, for us, just come here, enjoy it, the occasion, and hopefully come away with the 3 points.
What have the preparations for your side been like coming into this off the back of COVID? Has it affected things at all?
Yes and no. You know, when the restrictions were lifted back in June, we had a talent ID sessions at one in the north, one in the south, because we didn't have a database of players. You know, normally we've got a database from the previous season. We didn't have that, you know, this year. So, you know, we tried to do our due diligence, see as many players as we could, you know, through the country. You know, the talent ID trials, watching, you know, Cymru Premier development games, local club games, school, college games. So it's been, you know, it's been a long. You know, the selectors, you know, have been out and about throughout the country watching games at weekends, and you know, we've got a good network of people that we trust as well.
Now, Welsh viewers, and I'm sure plenty others will be aware of your Hall of Fame career and your goal-scoring prowess. Is this a team with goals in it?
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, we, you know, got quite an attacking lineup today. So hopefully, you know, one or two of them can put the ball back in the net.
As you can see, we're on a flight path here, planes going over. Lots of people will be coming in to cast an eye on some future stars. For our viewers, how, I guess, confident are you? There's a few bright sparks in here for the future.
Yeah, there is, and it's an occasion for them to, show what they're made of, on the international stage in front of the cameras. Some of the players are involved with Cymru Premier Team. Some have come on, made their debuts. They're on the bench, so those games are televised. So yeah, it'll be a good occasion, one we're all looking forward to.
Now, Wales are a very proud sporting nation. The senior side could be heading to the World Cup still. We'll wait and see how it all pans out. But in terms of this competition, Northern Ireland are the holders, but are you making them favourites tonight, or is that tag yours?
No, they're the favourites. I think, the loss last week, didn't think the score reflected their performance. Probably maybe a draw would have been a fair result at the end of the night with Scotland. 2 fantastic goals. Their keeper had a worldie. So no, they're the favourites. Hadn't lost for 5 years into last week. So hopefully, that losing run continues tonight.
It should be a really interesting game. Great to talk to you, Mark. Good luck.
Cheers, Michael.
Welcome along to our live game tonight. Northern Ireland versus Wales in the inspiresport Centenary Shield here at Blanchflower Park. The teams are eager, they're out already. We've just had the anthems and we are just moments away from kick-off. Northern Ireland go with an unchanged starting 11. The hosts going with Ora McCart, who scored late on in that game against Scotland last week in defence, along with Cliftonville clubmate Aidan Kelly, who captains this Northern Ireland team. Fellow Red Liam McStravick is up top beside Jack McFeely in what looks likely to be a 4-4-2 for Frankie Wilson. For the visitors, it's a 3-4-3. Ivan Knott in goals, Dolman, Holden and Ellis in defence in front of him. Cheyenne Johnson is the captain, and Joe Haig, who is celebrating his 17th birthday, leads the line up front. We can see the subs for both teams as the players get into position here. Final preparations, and it's a good time to bring in my co-commentator, Glentoran player and indeed someone who's won this competition as a captain for Northern Ireland, Bobby Burns. Bobby, a warm welcome to you.
Thanks very much, delighted to be here and looking forward to a good match tonight, and very impressive facilities here at Harlan Wolf Welders, much improved on some of the pitches I played on a couple of years ago, so looking forward to an exciting match and hopefully a good opportunity for Northern Ireland to bounce back after last week's disappointing result.
Yes, it has really taken shape, this ground, a modern looking stadium, and as I said right at the beginning, a championship venue for now. The club have aspirations to go further, and Wales will be familiar with this ground as well. Their Victory Shield side were here and they were successful, remember, alongside Scotland back at the end of last year. That's the table coming into proceedings. And if you're wondering why everyone else, bar Scotland, are joint second, it's because everyone is ranked on points alone. Forget goal difference for a change. You don't really need to be a mathematician to enjoy the Centenary Shield. It's points on the board that matters. So there you go, nice and easy. Win as many games as you can, and you'll probably win this.
Yeah, it's quite funny. It's a bit of an old-fashioned setup. Even there's not an outright winner if it's joint on points, and as we benefited from. We had the highest goal difference, but we ended up sharing it in 2017 because there was no messing about, purely on points, and then you just shake hands and share it. But a fantastic tournament and a brilliant learning experience for a lot of these young players.
Well, here are the fixtures ahead of us after this one tonight. Republic of Ireland against Scotland taking place next week. Northern Ireland against England on the 25th. That is very much one to watch out for. And Wales, well, some of their big games actually coming up in a few weeks' time. So Northern Ireland will have finished their matches before Wales have, and you wonder how that might factor in to how teams approach games, because you're not playing side by side as such.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that. Maybe just to do with the school calendar, but it always seems to be the way. But certainly a good opportunity for Northern Ireland, having already played a game, to get that extra bit of sharpness.
Well, the ball sent long early on as Northern Ireland in their traditional colours, as are Wales, green and white for the home team and all red for the visitors, as Frankie Wilson's side gets an early throw in on that far side, which is taken, and McCoubrey trying to cross it in, and a nice run in the middle as well there by McFeely, just a little over his head, and it's an early touch for the Welsh keeper, Knott, who doesn't waste much time in sending it long. Good movement by Tweedy to try and get in behind. He's certainly one of the talismen in this Wales team. Trying to find the pass in behind. McKay able to stab it away, and Lloyd Williams' team with an energetic start here in the east of the nation's capital. Composed play by Scullion. Tosh just eased off it by Williams. A little robust there from McKay, but the referee not too annoyed by that and played forward. Again, as Northern Ireland are having to do a wee bit of the early defending, Bobby Burns.
Yeah, it's been a very exciting start. The referee must have forgotten his whistle. He's just let it play, which is great for us. And as I said last week, I think that the pitch probably didn't help Northern Ireland. They probably conceded a couple of goals from trying to overplay around the back, but tonight's service really looks like it's helping both teams, and certainly both teams sort of feeling each other out so far. But good defending from the Wales goalkeeper to have such a high line, because I think that's one of Northern Ireland's biggest tactics, is trying to get the ball over the top. And it's a very brave starting position, and it's maybe a wonder if players like McStravick there might try and even chip the goalkeeper, because he's starting so far off his line.
Our referee for tonight is Stuart Long, incidentally. Jamie Patterson and Shane Geary, his assistants. The fourth official is Niall Devlin. They'll be hoping for a quiet night where the football does the talking. Sometimes wishful thinking for officials, but time will tell. Stroked inside by Kirkhoff as Wales try to continue their run, but they just ran out of red jerseys on that side of the pitch. And forward thinking is Tosh. McFeely, lovely little bit of close control from him, and showing pace too, forcing a covering challenge from Lewis Holden, who did well to stick to his task.
Yeah, he defended well in the end, but it was good play from Northern Ireland to get the ball up the line. And as I said, that's probably their main tactic, the way Frankie likes to play it. When the fullbacks get the ball, that ball over the top of the sort of right back, and it was really good hold-up play, and it gives a good opportunity now for Northern Ireland. And watch out, because they always like to do a few sort of special set pieces.
Well, McCoubrey on set piece duty there. Wales able to win their battle at the front post, and Northern Ireland will keep bodies forward for the moment, and they won't be sprung upon on the counter-attack, because the offside flag has come up from the assistant official against Thomas Tweedy. Maybe not a surprise that Wilson is out, offering some instructions to his team, because they were very nearly carved open there from their own corner.
Yeah, he's very vocal as a manager, and Frankie's a brilliant guy, somebody I'd still be keeping in touch with regularly. And but once the first whistle starts, he's a changed man, and he would have high blood pressure during the game, shall we say. He's very intense, but someone's great enthusiasm for the game.
Healthy crowd out in force watching this one. Plenty of family members involved as well, loving the chance to see their young relatives out involved in an international game such as this.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the biggest part of it, trying to get, obviously the first game is away in Scotland, but for a lot of these lads it might be the first time with the Northern Ireland jersey on, and it's great that the game was put on at 7 o'clock at night for people, coming home from work or school to get out to the game, and it's great to see such a big crowd.
No room down that side whatsoever. Good combative play from Dolman. The ball across has been picked up by McCoubrey. And Northern Ireland just now trying to settle themselves in possession, which they weren't able to do in the early stages as such, but now flagged offside as they move into the area. Sometimes you wonder football games such as this, because it was described as a cup final for Northern Ireland after the defeat last week. You wonder, is it going to be tentative, is it going to be slow, are they going to feel each other out? We haven't had a sense of that yet with 5 minutes gone.
No, and I guess the way it just starts, and maybe that's where some of your main leaders just need to get a good start. But obviously for Northern Ireland, after losing the first game, if they have any intentions of winning this, they probably need to try and win the next 3 games, but they've certainly made a positive start to the game, and so have Wales, and it's been played in the right way.
Challenge from Kirkhoff is going to require a little talking to. Stuart Long offering nothing more than an instruction there.
Just as I said, that big challenge comes in.
Supporting run offered by McKay, and he's hung that in nicely and not watches it well. The Carmarthen Town youngster.
Yeah, it was good play from Northern Ireland, and I think when the Wales right winger Tweedy on this right hand side isn't really tracking. The Northern Ireland fullbacks are going forward, so they should be able to try and get some joy down this left hand side, and I think if they'd released him earlier, he probably would have got the cross in even earlier.
Interesting seeing the setup, as you identified right from the start. Knott's very commanding of his area, isn't he? He's aggressive in the right sense.
Yeah, I think Wales have probably watched Northern Ireland here, and they can see that they're trying to play that ball over the top, and Wales have the right idea, keep the line high and sort of push Northern Ireland back, and when they play it over the top, if you have a sweeper keeper like that, it can be very effective. But that's where, if it was a player like an Aaron Whiteman in the midfield for Northern Ireland, they'd be looking at maybe, if they get half a yard at the halfway line, to maybe try and catch him out, because he's so far off his line.
McStravick, promising move this. Tosh has options in the centre and just didn't get enough purchase on the cross, which has allowed Wales to clear their lines in the first instance at least, but they're back defending again. Brilliant give and go. McStravick's pass, Tosh pulling it back behind the striker, and narrowly wide it goes from Donald Scullion. Well, it was a wonderfully worked move, wasn't it? And he wasn't too far off from finding the bottom corner.
Yeah, it was a brilliant play from Northern Ireland again, and as I said a minute ago, that it seems to be down this right hand side that Wales are struggling a bit, and Northern Ireland are just overloading them, and it was great play from McStravick. He's a very tidy player on the ball, and just think there that Tosh probably could have taken a better first touch on the initial cross, but certainly good play from Northern Ireland, and if they can keep getting into those positions, it'll only be a matter of time before they can score.
Good run from Scullion too, just wasn't able to tuck it away, but encouraging signs for the hosts, and indeed the first big chance of the match.
Haven't trained the ball, boys.
Enthusiastic, I think. Nicely screened, and it's so congested in there as well, but Wales have worked a way through. Mark Lloyd-Williams' side advancing as they try and get it across the box, but Haig's pass was cut out, and that is somewhat speculative from James Dolman, and isn't going to work. Brown in the Northern Ireland goal.
No, that'll not worry him too much. I think McKay defends really well there, but the one thing for Northern Ireland, every time they're sort of getting it, like McKay in that position, he's trying to sort of play the long ball over the top, and at times the Wales team are shifting right across to this side, and maybe there was an option when Wales had dropped off, they could maybe have passed through midfield and tried to get out the other side, because Whiteman was in acres of space on the right hand side.
You can see some of the gesticulating from the Northern Ireland bench. Lots of organising going on. The Welsh bench look a bit more relaxed, it has to be said at the moment, whether that's telling or not, but just an observation at this stage. Great bit of control by Kirkhoff, offloading the pass and making himself available to receive it back, but he hasn't got it yet. Instead, it's blocked by Kelly. Northern Ireland have bodies back here, and they'll be able to take the goal kick in the end, because that was just a little too hard for Tweedy to get around the corner and get onto.
Yes, I think nearly the entire play in the game has come down this near side for both teams, and it's almost as if they're forgetting that the far side of the pitch is available, and there probably the pass from Wales was probably to go out the other side, and probably just tried to force it too much to try and find it through a tight angle on this near side.
Tosh, intuitive play, flicking it and continuing the run as McFeely plays him into space. Green jerseys lurking, but it's the red of Wales who react quickest there. Hanging perilously in the centre, McFeely having to really stretch for that, and it was a difficult height for him in the end. A little too high for him to bring it down, and equally for him to get much power on the header.
Yeah, it was great play for Northern Ireland down both sides, and as a fullback myself I'd be really frustrated because there was 2 good crosses came in there, and I think in both instances the forwards weren't probably quite as instinctive as they could be, and particularly on the second cross that came in, the Northern Ireland forwards probably weren't just in the right position to attack the header, and I think Wales look like they have a big tall side, so for Northern Ireland to get any joy from those crosses they need to get numbers in the box and try and attack the ball.
The Centenary Shield is great exposure for these players. Remember, all schoolboys as well, under 18s. An opportunity to line out for their country and make a name for themselves on a bigger stage, a bigger platform, with, I'm sure, plenty of scouts watching.
That's it, and I think sometimes that's what I was sort of saying to some of the lads a couple of weeks ago, was that you don't realise how close you are to sort of the next levels, and so many players like Mark Sykes and Gavin White and Paul Smith that had never made any of the Northern Ireland squads, you know, the Victory Shield under 17 until they came here, and you know, even Caelan Marin, and it really did help a lot of those players sort of get their name out and sort of get the experience and sort of improve and playing at this level, and in the seasons after they did really well.
Free kick given there. Kirkhoff judged to being fouled by Tosh right in front of the assistant official, and it gives Wales a free kick in a dangerous position here. You would imagine it'll be whip it into the corridor of uncertainty and see what happens.
I just can't believe how high Northern Ireland's line is. I don't think they realise that the offside line's based on the wall. They're leaving a huge space at the back post here, but we'll see how they defend it.
There's a massive gap to run into. You are certainly correct there. Wales going deep with it, winning the header, but again, it's one that Brown can comfortably watch wide of his post.
Yeah, the Northern Ireland need to make sure they limit the amount of opportunities for Wales to put in the box, because the one thing I think we've all probably both noticed so far in the game is that Wales are much probably taller than Northern Ireland, and looking at their back four here, it's almost like they're lined up with 4 big centre backs who are all coming into the box, so certainly not something Northern Ireland want to be repeating.
Some minor appeals for a free kick. The second challenge was spicy, a 50-50. Old school from schoolboys, but deemed to be fair as play has gone on. But there might just have to be a stoppage here as Northern Ireland have a player down. And we can see the initial challenge which came in on Daffod deemed to be fair, and then McCoubrey going in and winning the ball.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty poor, well, I mean, it was aggressive, but certainly I think if both players probably just about got to the ball together, but there was a lot of aggression in it, and I think if one had got to the ball before the other, there could have been a bit of an uproar about it, because it was an aggressive challenge certainly, and hopefully both players are okay.
Well, both him and Joe Haig will receive a bit of treatment. Neither wanted to shirk that challenge, and both could stake a claim to winning the ball there, but in the end that's a sore one for the joints and an early outing for the physios.
Yeah, they get themselves on the TV, but I think in that instance he just overruns the ball, and he probably should just leave it, but he's trying to maybe be committed and throw himself into the tackle, but just needs to be careful in that instance, because if he had timed it any later, you know, he could have really endangered the safety of the opponent.
Could have been a sore one there. The cards remain in the referee's pocket for now, and he'll wait for the treatment to be completed. Northern Ireland are back to the full complement, as you can see in the back of your picture there. McCoubrey up and ready to take the throw in, but Haig just needing a bit more attention at the moment. Incredible to think, Bobby, when you look down through the history of this long-standing competition, you have to go way back to 1981, the last time Wales won it, which it seems hard to believe with the quality players they've had down through the years.
Yeah, it is, but sometimes it's just the difference in the schoolboy systems, you know. I think obviously in the likes of England and maybe probably Wales too, that the best players maybe get scouted into the Swansea and Cardiff's academies, where in Northern Ireland, you know, the lads here that are at Cliftonville or Glentoran or Linfield are still in school and therefore available for selection. So we have a little bit of an advantage in Northern Ireland, but it is still a surprising statistic. And
well, McFeely hoping to find a way in behind. He's looked lively, hasn't he, in these first 15 minutes or so. Bang up for the game, but well marshalled again at the expense of a corner kick.
Yeah, it was a great first touch from McFeely, and if he had just got the ball out of his feet, he probably could have ran him through on goal. But more dangerous play from Northern Ireland, and I think that's the way that they're going to try and score, is more trying to play it on the ground and through the lines, because the high balls, when they've played them, haven't really worked, and when they've tried to play through the lines, they've got more joy.
The St Columb's College players amongst those moving around in the middle. He was moving towards the ball there, and Northern Ireland have earned themselves yet another corner.
Yeah, it's something Frankie really works on, is the set pieces, and Northern Ireland have always had a very strong record from them.
Rings true right up to the senior side, doesn't it? The in-swinger delivered, not getting gloves to it. Drilled through the bodies there by Caelan Millen. And now Northern Ireland will need to get their players back. Maybe just a cynical challenge, and the breakaway there brings about a free kick.
Yeah, Aaron Whiteman's watching too many of our tackles, but that was a fantastic delivery in, and I think from Northern Ireland's point of view, just be disappointed that the goalkeeper was able to run so far out of the 6-yard box to claim that ball.
Extravic dropping in, and you can see every time they want to try and release McFeely early. Watch the bounce on that one. Spare any blushes. Not easy to be a goalkeeper, and sometimes on these sorts of surfaces it can be deceiving, the bounce you get.
Frankie Wilson's blood pressure's high at the best of times. I wouldn't have liked him sooner when his goalkeeper started backtracking there, but again, good goalkeeping from Wales is not.
McStravick wouldn't necessarily be a favourite in an aerial duel, but showing that he does have a bit about him to hold off his marker and find that pass across, and not able to hold on to it after Whiteman's stinging ball across the area. Could so easily have been spilt by the keeper, who did ever so well to make sure he got gloves to it. Yeah,
no, it's been a really good start in Wales' goal, but I was just about to say that, you know, when Northern Ireland are playing these high balls, it's not really suiting them with the likes of McStravick and Whiteman up front. They're not as good in the in the air, and their quality's certainly on the ground. And when McStravick got that down and released Whiteman, he's a very, very dangerous player, and it was a good chance for Northern Ireland.
And when you see the deflection that came in there as well, important probably to get that little touch on it to make sure it doesn't fall to someone in Northern Ireland, but we've seen those nestle in nets and go down as own goals, so I'm sure the Wales defence relieved to see their keeper quick reflexes there.
Oh yeah, you get when your luck's going against you, those are the ones that go into the bottom corner and everybody starts blaming each other. But certainly, as I said, Aaron Whiteman would train a lot with us at the first team at Glentoran, and he's a fantastic young player, somebody I have to mark a lot in training, so I know full well of his qualities. And
bobbling around, but Northern Ireland had the measure of it. McFeely able to cushion it down as McStravick sails a couple of dummies and moves the pass on. Wales disciplined and keeping their shape. A red wall assembled and forcing Northern Ireland back again.
It's a good example there. Northern Ireland, McStravick does well, but all the Wales team over this left hand side, and Whiteman's so free on the right.
Well, momentarily caught out there by the quick throw in, but again, they've impressed me how they've been able to get back in the nibbling challenges of Dolman, each precise, and in the end bring about a corner kick for the hosts.
Yeah, Dolman defended it well, but it was another example where Northern Ireland are trying to play down this left-hand side, and when it comes back out, they've got to use their width and find Whiteman, because if they can find him in space, he'll cause danger, and trying to force it through bodies is much more difficult.
Corner coming in. Wales, as they have done, able to win that challenge. McCoubry trying to make a bit of space for himself to deliver a decent ball in, wasn't able to quite achieve that. Northern Ireland relieved to stay on the ball. Tosh has options near post and far post and won't be able to bring about either of those as he's brought down by Dolman.
Yeah, Tosh has made a really good start to the game. He's got it Dolman a lot, and it's good position to get a free kick there. And Northern Ireland did the right thing when they got it wide to him. They left him 1v1, and he's causing a lot of danger to Dolman. And he's probably lucky not to have been booked there because it was quite a cynical foul for someone that was getting into the box past him.
Well, you can see why Lewis Tosh has been named under-20s Player of the Month at Coleraine, playing with confidence at club level and showcasing that here too.
I think Northern Ireland could be lining up a little cutback here.
Not making sure that his wall are well drilled. Right on cue. Miscued strike and the offside flag is up, so even if it had been better directed, it wouldn't have stood.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great position for Northern Ireland to get it, and actually the blockers all did a really good job, and unfortunately Tosh's delivery, the cutback, was just too far behind the Northern Ireland player, and it was just probably, but it was something that we used to do quite a lot, the little pullback, and it's a good opportunity for Northern Ireland, but again, just the delivery just wasn't quite there for Northern Ireland to hit it first time.
Seeing that little manoeuvre forever reminds me of the goal, or one of the goals David Healy scored against Spain, if you remember.
Well, that's what they call it. They used to shout David Healy, and then I think they realised people started to catch on what they were talking about, so they called it something else. But that was it Spain?
That was the one. Jerry Armstrong, I think, tried to take credit for setting that whole move up, but anyway, leave that conversation for another day. Nice pass inside there. Tosh is actually in an unnatural position, you might think, for him, as McFeely tries to get the shot away. It's been charged down, and the free kick has been given in the end against Donald Scullion, who was just stretching a little bit to make that challenge, and he's been penalised.
Yeah, it was a little bit harsh, but again, good play from Northern Ireland, and McStravick again sort of pulling the strings, and I think there McFeely, maybe if he'd got a better first touch, could have got a shot off at goal, but the signs are there for Northern Ireland in the dangerous areas. They just probably need to get that final ball right and then get the finish, but they're getting into good areas.
You can see the confidence growing for Frankie Wilson's side. Confidence which maybe some people would wonder had it been dented by that defeat in Scotland, but after enduring some early pressure, they have grown into the game. But Wales have been well up to the task so far.
I don't know if we can see it on the cameras, but Whiteman again on so free on the other side and saving the work to him.
Nice dinked ball. Tosh trying to pull it back there. Whiteman was waiting. But it's a corner for Northern Ireland, and the corner count is certainly beginning to mount.
It's alright when you play in those tight areas if you're good enough to do it, and there they did really well to sort of manoeuvre it in a good little cutback. But I think the Wales right back Dolman's having a difficult time, just some of the balls coming in behind him, and the right winger probably needs to come back and try and support him a little bit more.
Posted into the centre. Knott has taken a knock there, and the keeper gets the free kick, and I don't think there's going to be too many complaints about that decision.
Yeah, but that's not always a bad thing to do. I think it was Kelly came up and tried to compete with him, and that just sends a little message to the goalkeeper not to come for the next one, because I think he was trying to come for quite a few there, and there'll be I think I'd be surprised if Northern Ireland don't maybe try and put someone on top of the keeper, because the deliveries have been really good, and the keeper's come out and claimed quite a few of them, and if he wasn't there, there could have been a couple of goals up.
Been a difficult fixture typically for Wales down through the years. Haven't managed to win against Frankie Wilson's Northern Ireland side over the last 9 years. Certainly in the most recent encounter at Solitude was a 1-0 win for Northern Ireland.
I'm sure Northern Ireland would just take any win at all tonight after the result last week against Scotland, but made a good start.
Supporters making stronger protestations than the players there.
Yeah, and the pretty clear free kick from my view anyway.
Referee is just calming things down a little bit on the touchline.
Yeah, Kirkhoff didn't play the ball at all. He practically just ran into his Northern Ireland counterpart, and it looked like quite a simple free kick, but not given.
Trying to find that pass inside, which Millen was just able to manoeuvre himself in front of and put out for Wales to have the throw in. What will they be able to make of this? Forced all the way back to their keeper. Not looking up, and they have a whole line of players just waiting to see if they can get on the end of that, but the kick has forced them into the corner. And they were maybe in hope more than anything trying to appeal for a corner, but that was always going to be a tough ask.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was. I think it was a bit of a nudge in the back on Kelly too, but I think Wales, Northern Ireland are probably starting to try and play the ball on the ground a little bit more, where Wales are playing that long ball, and Northern Ireland just need to be careful not to drop too deep, because they're sort of inviting pressure on themselves slightly, and there's no need to drop so deep.
McFeely threading it in. McStravick had his feet taken out from underneath him. He gets the free kick, and just a little bit of frustration telling with the Wales manager, Mark Lloyd-Williams. Cheap free kick to give away. Northern Ireland will be hoping now to try and work the keeper.
Frankie Wilson screaming, "Do the bounce." I don't know what that means, but we're about to find out.
I'm old enough to think that's maybe a dance move, but I'm not. I doubt that is what he means. Ryan McKay was one off the training ground, but was one that Wales were able to deal with, and actually the last touch off a Northern Ireland player, so they have the throw in.
Yeah, I don't mind those sort of little trying plays, and as I say, Northern Ireland have scored a lot from set pieces in recent years and just didn't quite come off, but fair play to Wales. They seem to read it well, and the defender made a good interception, but actually that one was actually probably much better executed than the David Healy cutback.
Fleet-footed play by Tweedy. Just put a bit too much height on the pass, hurrying it through when he maybe had a little more time than he realised.
Yeah, Wales have been a little bit frantic on the ball and probably at times just played long, where they probably had the option maybe at times to put their foot in the ball, and there's no excuse on this surface.
Tweedy scored in a 1-0 victory over England in February. Made his debut for Pennybont in December, so has had a taste of senior football. Wales defending now. Toshes and acres of space, pulled back perilously there as goalkeeper and defender nearly collide, and Wales, by the skin of their teeth, survive the latest scare.
Yeah, that was fantastic defending there from Wales in the end. It was probably poor in the first instance. Mistravik again put in the strings, and good ball out to Tosh. It was a good ball in, but it was a fantastic last edge challenge from the Wales defender.
Mistravik is just offside there. A little disappointed to see the flag go up, but we can see this opportunity again. Lovely weighted pass.
I think it's Ellis.
And a superb bit of defending in the end. Just up Northern Ireland walking that one into the net.
Yeah, I think Wales will be really disappointed. It was one long ball, and the right back Dolman had probably tucked in too far and allowed Tosh to be free, but his friend Ellis really dug him out, and it was a great last ditch tackle in the end.
Rough Ellis with the heroics at the back. Always nice to appreciate a good bit of defending, Bobby, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
With the Defenders Union here tonight, normally everyone's waxing lyrical about strikers, and we might do that as well.
You've got to praise them to do something well, because I'm sure we'll be criticised on the other end. But that was he matched the run of McFeely really well, and it was a great challenge, not just to win the ball, but to clear it out of danger and not put it in the back of his own net.
Scullion sending it up. It was nicely brought down by Ellis, who was looking to try and play that through the two Northern Ireland bodies there. Wasn't quite able to do that, but Tweedy has stroked it long to Haig. Haig left hobbling after a challenge there, and they're crowded out and in the end forced to retreat.
Yeah, the Wales definitely don't look like they're going to try and play through the lines, but Northern Ireland just have to make sure they're winning these headers and then getting on the end of the second balls.
Big call from the keeper. Understood. As defenders stepped aside to allow the Glentoran youngster to come through.
This is though at times when Brown wins the ball like that, I would love to see Northern Ireland maybe throwing it out, because when they play these long high balls, they're probably playing more into Wales' hands, and as you see there, they're able to win the headers.
Scullion cushioning it. Okay, continuing his run, and this time Tosh's pass not finding the intended target is Tweedy. Tries to get running at the back line. Spirited run from him. And he's got the throw in.
Yeah, it was a good last-ditch tackle there by Aidan Kelly. And yeah, it was a bit probably different from Wales. Tweedy was actually able to get the ball and drive at one of his markers, and it definitely asks Northern Ireland more questions.
Giving us a glimpse of why he was trusted by his club side for some senior minutes against TNS, and why they hopefully can kick on from here. Just one of a number of danger men that Lloyd Williams side possess. They haven't really been able to show their attacking strength yet, though. Northern Ireland have limited the visitors in terms of meaningful opportunities. Will that change here? Tosh sends it away. McFeely beaten to the ball. Great build up. Room for the shot. Haig winding up and driving it low, but Brown down and behind it.
Yeah, great play from Wales. Lovely little 1-2, and Haig makes a lovely strike. And when Northern Ireland reflecting on, they probably think they were probably too deep and invited him onto him. But good save from Brown, and safe hands, having not had too much to do. It was a very good save, the way he was able to hold on to it as well.
Became Cambrian and Clydagfield's youngest ever score in a competitive game last month against Ammanford at 16 years, 11 months and 2 days old. He's 17 now, and was hoping to make it a birthday to remember with a long-range screamer.
Yeah, he certainly looks physically ready to be playing senior football. You compare him to probably some of the Northern Ireland midfielders are a little bit smaller, so he looks a stronger lad, but as do probably the rest of a lot of these Wales lads.
Kelly playing an aerial 1-2 with himself almost there. Northern Ireland trying to stop Wales finding a way through. Tweedy saw a side of goal, and just in the last couple of minutes, that's something that they've been encouraged to do a bit more of, which is if you work an angle, take a shot, see what happens. They haven't had too many chances up until then.
Yeah, but I think they both come from Wales playing long balls, and Northern Ireland sort of losing the headers, and that's what I talked about. They've got to try and win their headers and then get on the second ball, because that's the only way Wales are going to hurt them. And that's why maybe it wouldn't surprise me in the later parts of the game if Northern Ireland were maybe to bring on a few centre midfielders slightly taller, that they could maybe win more of those physical duels, because it's not really been a football game in the midfield when Wales have had the ball anyway.
Not a bad attempt there either, it has to be said. Gabe Kirkhoff straight down the middle, and maybe in the end comfortable enough for Brown, but they are starting to find more openings.
Yeah, it's much better from Wales in the last couple of minutes, but again it just comes from a long throw in, and Northern Ireland are all sitting watching the ball, and Wales are quickest to react, so they probably need to switch on here, or they could concede very easily if Wales keep going as they're doing.
Tweedy trying to get onto that hooked pass. Brown was quick to react, and McKay finds McFeely. Back with McKay. Here he comes again. A Breda Academy student, Whiteman, for set of goal for him. It wasn't a bad effort either.
Yeah, that was fantastic play from Northern Ireland, and I've been saying all game that I wish Brown would throw the ball out, and that's the first time he's caught it, released it quickly. Wales were sort of switched off, and Northern Ireland definitely seemed like the superior football inside, and they were able to work it out. And again, it's probably the first time when I think Tosh got it on the left side and switched it to Aaron Whiteman, and he's done well to get inside and get the shot off, and he'll probably just be a little bit disappointed he wasn't able to hit the target, but certainly much more encouraging play from Northern Ireland there.
minutes remain in the first half here at Blanchflower Park. Which side will be able to find a way in front? What lift that will give them heading into the break, should they manage it. Lovely pass, and the bit of control wasn't bad either, just slightly off balance, leaning back to bring it down. Hasn't hampered their possession though, Wales.
Would just love to see the Northern Ireland defence maybe trying to get themselves 5 or 10 yards higher, particularly when Wales pass the ball backwards, because that would then allow the midfielders to be higher and then the forwards to press the centre backs, and by doing that maybe some of these long balls coming into the box would be much more rushed, and it all sort of leads on one thing on to another, but they are slightly inviting Wales onto them and allowing some of these headers to sort of take place on the edge of their own box.
Fans in attendance well wrapped up as temperatures begin to drop. It was sunny earlier on today, but any hopes of it being a roasting hot day, well, I don't think anyone was believing that, were they?
The sun cream was very much left on the car.
No pairs of shorts around the ground, apart from those on the pitch. McKay. Fantastic ball inside, wonderful vision of McFeely. Breaks the deadlock to send Northern Ireland in front. It's a fine pass to carve open Wales, and McFeely spun and struck, much to the delight of the home team.
Yeah, it's a brilliant goal for Northern Ireland. I think they've got a lot of their joy down this left-hand side, and McKay does well. He's patient and he comes inside, and I'm going to give him the credit that it wasn't a shot. It was he was trying to probably cross it in, and McFeely does really well to spin his man and make the finish. But I think Wales will be disappointed, just as I'd said about Northern Ireland defending too deep. I think they've defended the box too deep and they've left McFeely free, and I think it's actually the left back trying to pick him up, and he finishes well, but as at this level you just can't leave your man free and defend so deeply or you'll be punished.
Northern Ireland 1, Wales 0, and it's high fives and hugs for the Northern Ireland players. A quality finish, a composed strike from McFeely has put Wilson's side ahead.
Yeah, it was a great first touch from him, and I don't think anybody expected. I think a lot of people would have tried to just swing on it, but very composed to take the touch. But I think when Wales reflect on the goal, they'll be wondering where their two centre backs were, because it ended up being the left back trying to come across and cover, and when crosses are coming into your box, it's the men you need to mark, not the space.
Well, he worked so hard to keep that in there, Millen, but he might regret doing so in a minute. Wales trying to fire back instantaneously, in Northern Ireland through Kelly make a crucial block, and that looked destined to be a goal otherwise, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, just after getting the goal, it's not the time to be trying to keep the ball in there, and Aidan Kelly makes a fantastic block, and he reads it well again, just as we talked about. Rather than marking the space, he comes in and picks up a man, and it's a superb block, and a real goal-saving block for Kelly.
When you look at his position initially in the other edge of the box, then he gets across to make that block. We'll just cut away from that actually, because Wales are coming forward again. It's a brilliant ball in, and the looping header dips over the crossbar. The header coming in from Gwaine Daffyd.
Yeah, I think Northern Ireland were playing really well, and they got the first goal up in the game, but I think now is just the time to slow it down, settle back into it, and don't be trying to keep in any throw-ins that are running out of play.
Well, he was showing such great energy and determination to get it, but this is the point about Kelly getting across and winning that challenge. He was on the left side of the area just moments before in that move, but he knows to come across, get into position and get in front of the danger man as Northern Ireland try and extend their lead. Whiteman on the ball. Great sliding challenge on him to dispossess him. Well, that goal has certainly sprung this tail end of the first half into life, hasn't it? Adrenaline pumping. Northern Ireland just misplacing their pass there. Well, they have to measure this right. They already almost gave Wales an opportunity straight through, and they will be making that point, I think. One thing getting a lead, but you need to keep it. Ball across the line there. I don't think the players had realised either, but
I don't think it had, but the linesman put his flag up because it looked like the ball was still about 3 or 4 centimetres in, but the The linesman made an interesting decision there, and the Wales players are letting him know about it.
Well, I'm glad you said that, but yes, I thought Kirkhoff had kept it in too, I have to say. Tosh getting the fortune of the bounce there in Northern Ireland, getting the favourable decisions. That's the view of some of the Welsh contingent.
Yeah, it was a brilliant play again from Liam McStravick. I really liked him tonight, and gets in there, and though he's a bit of a smaller stature, he's not afraid to mix it with the bigger boys and gets in that position, and I think he sees that he's sort of 3v1 around him and buys the free kick well.
Another free kick, another routine for Northern Ireland. McStravick floating it in and not taking any chances, reaching over, getting a grip of it and getting it up the park quickly, trying to free Dafford there, and the referee thought that the striker was just a little too eager to get to the ball and fouled his man in the process. I think that's pretty conclusive.
It's not our vision, at least. I was getting ready to. My cousin's an optometrist, and I was getting ready to call her, but I thought it was my own vision that was the problem. But yeah, it was certainly not the right call.
I'll write that down. That may come in handy one day. Hopefully not for a while yet. The pass just going behind Tweedy, but Wales with 3 players around the edge of the area. Oh, through the legs it goes, just taken away from Haig. Daffod's going to try and get a shot away if he can, and Northern Ireland in the end quickly come to the realisation that anywhere will do.
Yeah, it's one of my biggest bugbears in football is defenders staying too deep, and the whole problem there came from the long ball that came into Northern Ireland's defence. They let it bounce twice because they were too deep, and it then caused all sorts of problems, and I think a combination of Kelly and McKay were able to sniff it out.
Can be a heart and mouth moment for a defender as well. When you make that challenge either side of your area and it goes across your box, it can lead to a goal. We saw PSG fall foul of it, Karim Benzema the beneficiary, and it can happen at any level. Managers much happier when the ball leaves the box.
Oh, absolutely. Especially in that position, you don't want to dangle a leg in and give away a penalty, so it can be very difficult to defend, and that's why you really want to try and, you know, like Kelly and McCart trying to get maybe Northern Ireland's line a little bit higher.
Cracking bit of skill in the initial build-up there from McStravick, just to switch feet, change balance, and then the ball down the line, finding Whiteman, who was able to show some strength. And very much watching him, you can understand why he's on the fringes of that Glentoran team, and if he was at a different Premiership side, he'd probably be getting quite a few more minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, when we do our 11v11s, I have to mark him every week, and he's an outstanding young talent, and somebody that I'm sure I think probably got to show so far how good he can be, because they haven't really, most of the plays been down this left side. But Aaron Whiteman's a very, very good player, and as you say, it's probably just hard to break into our team at the minute with us, you know, trying to push towards the league title, and a lot of experience and depth in our team. But somebody that I think a lot of Glentoran fans will be interested to watch tonight, because he's someone that will make a lot of appearances in the future, and these are the sort of nights for him that, you know, it's a good chance to get good game time and experience at this level.
Some of those Welsh subs might be thinking about when will they be introduced in this game to try and change their fortunes. There's a long way to go, with a little under 90 seconds left of normal time of this first half. But for the moment, it's Northern Ireland who are in front. Scullion to Tosh. Holden ends up tumbling, and his side have the free kick.
Yeah, it's brilliant play from Northern Ireland, and McFeely does well, and I think the referee's been quite generous, but although he's been consistently generous for both teams, they've given quite a few of those free kicks tonight, that the defender just seems to be able to fall down in those positions, and he gets it. But less said about that, the better.
Kirkhoff had it taken off his toe. McFeely, don't think he realised that was coming back to him, didn't stop him looking after himself in the resulting challenge.
Yeah, it was another one of the tough category.
Good contest so far. Kirkhoff. What a challenge that is. Fourth official showing us that there will be a minimum of 1 additional minute allocated at the end of this first half.
Yeah, it's brilliant play from Donald Scullion again. Probably Northern Ireland's defence backing off probably a little bit quicker than I would have liked, and allowed the Wales attacker to run at them, and brilliant tackle, and then to get up and play a ball like that over the top was superb.
I thought there might have been more than a minute after the early injury, although it didn't result in substitution, but we had physios on early doors in this game, but maybe the officials are feeling it a bit down there, the wind whipping in, a bit cold.
The linesman's got the kettle on in his head, he's waiting for that cup of tea, the fourth official. No hanging about.
They do make a good cup of tea here, I have to say, and absolutely hint if any of my friends at the Welders are listening. Northern Ireland with the throw in as they look to close out a good first half here for them, and they won't even get to take the throw in as the whistle sounds from Stuart Long, and it's Frankie Wilson who will be heading in the happier manager at the interval. Bobby Burns, your thoughts on the opening 45 minutes here?
I think it's been a really good game. Both teams have tried to play it in the right spirits, and Northern Ireland have done well, particularly down this sort of left hand side with Tosh and McKay, and I think McFeely's had a good game too. I think they can probably get wiping more into the game on the right hand side, and from Wales' point of view, you know, most of their joys come from long balls and being physical and winning the headers and getting on the second balls. But Northern Ireland, the likes of McCart and Kelly, just need to keep being physical, winning their headers, and when they can, just getting the line up and keeping Wales out of their box. But certainly a positive start for Northern Ireland, and to be going in 1-0 at half time is a good start.
Well, the half-time score, Northern Ireland 1, Wales 0, and we can see some of the highlights now from the first half. And some of the best work has been on this near side as we look at it. Tosh pulling this one back, Scullion timing his run and not quite able to find the bottom corner there, but it was a thread throughout the half, wasn't it, really, for Northern Ireland, working it down their left.
Yeah, and that's where I think Wales, need to try and get maybe be the right winger, the centre back, or one of the midfielders to go across to the Northern Ireland's left hand side to try and cover defensively a little bit more, because they're getting plenty of joy there. And you see here again when Whiteman gets 1v1, he's very dangerous.
And you can, from that angle, just see the little glance off the head as it nudges it back towards the keeper, who was able to hold on to it. Slowed down, you don't realise just quite the pace that was on that initial cross. But again, the step overs from Tosh showing the skills and the confidence of the young player, which brought about a foul in that instance. And then he wasn't afraid to move inside to try and tee up an opportunity here. McFeely, who was to go on and score in the half,
that was probably
denied on that occasion.
He maybe could have hit it first time. He's got his feet together. By the time I think he takes the touch, it's difficult, and the Wales defenders do well to get round and smother him. But that was the warning sign, and unfortunately for Wales, they didn't listen to it.
Lovely flick there from McFeely, and the pass in behind, and that's where Ellis made the covering challenge. I mean, looking through it, if you were late joining us in the first half, Wales had to weather the storm, there's no question about that, and Northern Ireland eventually were able to break the deadlock, but they were certainly made to work for it, and that was a rather outstanding bit of defending from Wales. But that isn't to suggest that Wales didn't have opportunities of their own too, and as the half moved on, they did find some shots, granted primarily from distance.
Yeah, Wales came into it really, when Northern Ireland didn't get to take those early chances. Wales had a couple of long range efforts, and there was probably other opportunities where they could have shot and didn't, but as you say, they weren't overly big chances. But when those shots are coming in, especially on a slick surface, it can be difficult to defend. And
that's the difference maker there. That is the goal that separates the teams at the break. McKay cutting in, placing it in for McFeely, who cushioned it, spun his marker and picked his spot to send him and his teammates off into wild celebrations.
Yeah, it's too easy for McKay to come inside, but he's done well. He's got the ball in there, and McFeely takes his first touch, and that's a moment he'll always remember, and certainly one that he looked like he enjoyed.
Well, it could well be said this was Wales' best chance. Caolan Millen working very hard to try and keep the ball in, and then Wales actually profited from that, moving it across, but it's the intuition of Kelly to get in and get that tackle in before Gwaine Daffyd could equalise. And there's no doubt from that range, if he's unmarked, he definitely equalises.
Yeah, I think again we talk about, you know, some of these lads just don't have the experience, and Millen probably should have just let that run out. But Kelly does well. He obviously comes across first of all in the first instance, and then comes across there, and that was a very important, just like Ellis's tackle earlier in the half. That was a goal-saving block interception.
So the half-time score here, Northern Ireland 1, Wales 0. We'll be back with the second half action shortly. This is Wales' first game of the 2022 edition of the Centenary Shield, but Northern Ireland's first match took place last week in Scotland, and we can bring you the highlights of that game now.
So a warm welcome to the inspiresport Centenary Shield 2022 kicking off here in Renfrew. It's a lovely night in the west of Scotland. The rain has stayed away. The artificial surface is ready to go. Gerbrick on the books of Linfield. Whiteman, McFeely. This is good play by Northern Ireland. Whiteman into the area, pulls it back. McFeely, that was blocked. Come back to the edge of the area. Lovely touch by McStavick. Sends it out wide again. On to Whiteman, dragged inside. Scotland to get players back, and they had to get players back. It's a good challenge by Jay Burns.
This is traditionally a very, very tight fixture. Lots of draws in it, so hopefully we'll see a breakthrough soon.
Stenhouse is trying to cause that for Scotland. Pulls the ball back. On to Gibson. Now Stenhouse goes for the curling effort, and Scotland have scored. Lucas Stenhouse with a goal. Scotland conjures something out of nothing, and it's a wonderful curling strike into the corner. Scotland take the lead. Scotland 1, Northern Ireland 0.
What a fantastic finish there from Lucas Stenhouse. He's always shown these talents in the warm-up games that we've had, and yes, that was a wonderful finish to the goal there. Well done, Lucas.
Well, it was very much meant. He knew exactly where he was at the edge of the area. He spotted Ryan Brown, who wasn't positioned badly, and he took it. It was a beautiful little flick played into him, and the curling effort right into the far corner. And Scotland, despite being under pressure, find themselves in the lead. So Ryan Brown, beaten once already this evening, pops the ball out on to Aidan Kelly. That's a little bit loose. Here's an opportunity for Scotland. Lewis Gibson. Gibson could do with some help. Too much green around him from a Scottish perspective. It's a great ball across. Chance for number 2. Scotland try and pull the trigger, and it's in. Ben Lamont. Well, Northern Ireland couldn't clear their lines, and Ben Lamont was on hand to take a touch to roll the ball into the back of the net. It's Scotland 2, Northern Ireland 0. Well, Stuart, Scotland have taken their chances. That's the difference in the game.
Indeed, that's exactly it. Obviously, the Scotland coaches felt that they had players who could do what they've done. Lamont has just come back from a wee bit of a layoff with a badly sprained ankle, but he's proved his worth there in terms of the selection, so well done to Ben Lamont.
Good play by Lewis Gibson. Northern Ireland a little bit unlucky to see the ball break off Kelly, and just the finish was enough to get past goalkeeper and defender. And Scotland tracking back through McInnes. Whiteman pops up on the left this time, taking on Hamilton. Easily past him, fancies the drive. Great save. That is a terrific hit from Adam Whiteman, and arguably it's an even better save by Scotland's Liam Russell.
Yes, a terrific save from Liam. He's shown all, since we selected him, that he is a very good save maker, so he's really dug Scotland out of a hole there. A dangerous move that Whiteman produced on the opposite side of the field. I thought he had slipped out of the game slightly, but he came back with a vengeance there.
Really bringing things to life for Northern Ireland. An important player he's proving to be. Comfortable centre midfield, or as he is this evening on the right hand side. A couple of balls on the field, we just used the one. Tries to find Whiteman. Whiteman takes the touch, moves away from Jay Burns. There's McFeely. Stavrik calling for it as it goes to Millen. Lovely little ball through onto McStavick. Tried the shot from the left hand side, it was not too far away either. It's good link-up play from Northern Ireland.
Yeah, terrific turn and shot there from McStavrich. It was a good effort, just went past the post, and certainly, as you said earlier, Northern Ireland have indeed responded well to going 2 goals down.
Well, watch John Binney here. He gets close to his man, but watch the beautiful little step over, allow the ball to run through. And little beat large on that occasion, but pulled it wide.
Yeah, an interesting contest on the left wing between Gavin Hamilton and his opposite number. It's two very, very pacey.
Oh, Tosh has played it in. It's a mistake by the goalkeeper. And Adam Whiteman taps home. Well, Liam Russell, who had such a stunning first half, causes the problem in the second. And Adam Whiteman shows why you should never give up on anything. And he taps Northern Ireland back into this game.
Yes, an unfortunate error on Liam's part. We just hope that he will show the resolve to bounce back from that and put that mistake behind him. Scotland would feel that goal was avoidable.
These little tricks of the trade that you like to see as Scotland try and gather on that far side. Opportunity for the run forward and the step in. The little shot is great finish. It's an absolutely brilliant finish from Scotland, and the man taking the celebrations is Lewis Gibson. That is a stunning moment for Scotland, who increased their lead again. Scotland 3, Northern Ireland 1. Lewis Gibson with a stunning goal.
Yes, another fantastic strike. Again, a player that we knew has got that type of ability in his locker, and he's produced it there in a fantastic fashion. Well done, Lewis.
Well, he was all on his own. It was all about him. Stepped inside Oren McCart and gave Ryan Brown no chance. And he was off to celebrate, and no wonder. Great footwork, the little drag back, opened up the space, and he could not have hit that any sweeter. Northern Ireland trying to gather. It's played short. McStavrich low with the shot. Well blocked. Back to the edge of the box. Scotland again getting out there before Greer could do damage, but it might fall for McFeely. Has he overrun it? Pulls it right away across. And certainly Luca McGreevy couldn't slide in to turn it home. It was deflected. It'll be another corner.
Indeed, Northern Ireland are putting on a concentrate. Again, Scotland have been alert. They've defended very well.
The kick to come from the left-hand side. It's deeper this time. The header up and wide. It was Donald Scullion who got himself free but couldn't put the header on target. As the ball gets played forward, the opportunity for Millen sends it forward. Danger here for Scotland. It's a terrific hit, and again the goalkeeper is there. Look at McGreevy, must have thought he'd scored, but again it's another wonderful moment for Liam Russell.
Well, there it summed up, isn't it? A moment of horror. I'm afraid that he's lost a goal for his country, but that's another fantastic. That's a goal savings. Wonderful save.
And in terms of how the competition goes, you know, should Fergus become fit again, can he come right back in?
He would do, but
here come Northern Ireland threatening that falls by. It's another good save. Northern Ireland trying to create. McStavrich sends it across. It's too high on that occasion and runs out of play. It's another chance for Northern Ireland, and again Liam Russell is up to the job. What a night the man is having between the sticks for Scotland.
Yep, a different type of save that time, but they all count, as they say, so well done again.
And they're first on this ground. And as the ball gets played forward on the angle, it's a great header, and Northern Ireland do get a goal back. Oren McCart picks the ball out the back of the net, and Northern Ireland, in the death of stoppage time, make it 3-2. Donnelly sends it back. Good interception again by Scotland, but Northern Ireland come again, but it is too little, too late. And Scotland were looking for their first win against Northern Ireland since 2012, and they delivered in Renfrew in the opening of the Centenary Shield.
Well, the good news for Northern Ireland supporters, at least, is they have made a good start to this first half. 1-0 up here, looking like a side that is bouncing back, at least for the time being, since that defeat at the hands of Scotland. Northern Ireland's next couple of games, Friday the 25th, they take on England here, and then they have a trip to Buncrana in County Donegal They face the Republic of Ireland on the 31st of March. A bit of a wait for Wales in terms of their next games. They are away to Scotland on the 7th of April, then a week after that at home to England before finishing off against the Republic of Ireland. An interesting few weeks ahead as the home nations try and find their way to silverware, and let's face it, there's plenty of talented teams out there with, I would imagine, aspirations of doing just that.
Yeah, that's it. It's always been a very competitive tournament, and as you see from the game last week against Scotland and Wales even here tonight, there's no easy games in it, and certainly it'll be more twists and turns in the journey before the victor is announced.
Lots of supporters here getting back into their seats after maybe some light refreshments. And good to see you back with us as well, Bobby, after speaking to your fan club. Lots of Bobby Burns appreciation going on here in the east of our nation's capital.
You need to be careful when you've lost a match a couple of days before the people aren't coming across to shout abuse to you, but now glad to be back to start the second half. And unfortunately your call for a cup of tea went unanswered.
People are busy. There's a change made there, just to confirm, for Wales, which sees the introduction of number 16 Rowan Piper, and Haig is the player who has made way.
We're just seeing Patrick Kelly walking alongside Frankie Wilson here on the way past it. Obviously a fantastic player for Coleraine this season, and I'm sure at this level he would have been a super asset for Frankie Wilson, and unfortunately with Coleraine's League Cup final on Sunday, he's not really been able to play tonight, but somebody that could be a big player in this tournament for Northern Ireland if he's able to play.
I'm sure there's been plenty of conversations between Frankie Wilson and Oran Kearney, and maybe after that final Patrick might find an opportunity to line up for Northern Ireland as Wales come out of the traps flying there. Good pass in behind, and Piper was almost in immediately, having just been introduced.
Yeah, it's the one thing that I would say, I think Northern Ireland have defended well, but again, there's just too big a gap between defence and midfield, and at times there, that there was too much space in between the lines, and again, it allowed Wales to get at Northern Ireland's defence.
This is club football at Trefallen, Rowan Piper, and I did notice as well on Twitter he got a good luck message from the Lee Trundle. Not bad to have a bit of a celebrity endorsement coming into these games.
You don't miss much. I wonder where the connection there is.
Rowan Piper is a big Swansea City fan, and Lee Trundle's a Swansea legend, so I'm putting two and two together there, but somebody on Twitter can correct me if there's even more of a link than that. And there's a rather interesting video which is captioned "Limbs," which drew my attention, of him enjoying a goal for the Jacks, but there we go, down a wormhole. A free kick for Wales. Josh Williams standing over it. Northern Ireland still in conversation really about how to assemble their wall. They can't be too dilly-dally about this. Williams goes low, as does Brown, and again it's competent goalkeeping.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see Northern Ireland only putting a two-man wall in there. That was clearly a free kick that there was going to be a shot from, and I would have been expecting 3 or 4 men in the wall, and I don't blame them for not wanting to be a wall in the wall on a cold night like this, but Brown did well to save it and hold on to it, because on these slick AstroTurf surfaces it can be very easy for the goalkeepers to fumble it back out, and he did well to hold on to it.
And down there for Northern Ireland, Tosh is back up now. Certainly wouldn't want to see him come off after a very good performance up to this point.
Yeah, himself and McKay have been superb down their Northern Ireland's left hand side, and I think this man on the ball, Aaron Whiteman, you can see more from him. Certainly his ability is very high, and I think we can expect more from him in this second half if Northern Ireland can get him the ball.
Millen just crowded out there as Wales come forward. Dafford back on it again. Piper bundled over. Nothing in that, says the referee. Northern Ireland now looking to venture up the far side, and it's going to be pulled back here for that challenge, and an angry response brought about and a yellow card brought out. That's going to be Holden.
I'd like to see that one back, but it looked like a naughty challenge for me, and one of those where Holden stepped out of his defence and missed, and you know, probably shouldn't have done so, and then having gone outside decided he was going to just take out a Northern Ireland man, and I think the referee made the right decision to give a yellow card there.
Well, it's been playing good spirits up until now, but the first yellow card brought out is Whiteman nearly able to poke that through. McStravick was waiting around there hoping that it would find him, didn't on that occasion. And the Welsh bench have been sent for a warm-up, which is always an indication that the manager isn't a happy bunny at the moment.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, look, I think Wales have played okay. They've been very physical, but probably got a few smaller subs, maybe some different assets in the bench that they'll be looking to use.
Northern Ireland are onside here. McStravick sees the keeper off his line, and it's a glorious finish from McStravick. Sheer quality to pull it over the keeper, and Northern Ireland now have doubled their advantage.
Yeah, it's a fantastic goal by McStravick. I've mentioned him a couple of times in the first half. I think he's been Northern Ireland's brightest spark, and superb play from him. He makes a great run, he gambles in behind him when it bounces up. Again, I talked about earlier, didn't I, about the Welsh goalkeeper being far off his line, and he recognises it well, and he exploits it, and it was a superb finish, and I'm delighted for him, the young Cliftonville player, and he's shown himself really well tonight.
The Edmund Rice pupil mastering his finishing there, and was caught off his line, as Northern Ireland are going to make another change here, their first change of the night.
Just seeing the goal back there, I think the keeper he's had a great high starting position all night, but again sort of gets caught in no man's land a little bit there.
Keelan Millen was the player that's made away. Number 9 on our team sheet is Patrick Kelly, but he's not involved, is he?
Certainly not Patrick Kelly. I'm looking at him down there on the bench.
No, definitely not. So someone's taken his jersey for the night.
I'll have to rustle up a few on the sources to find out who that is.
So Northern Ireland (2-0) up now, and the Northern Ireland manager will be, I think, feeling a lot more settled with how this game was going, because one goal is never certainly, not that 2-0 necessarily is, but they've a bit of breathing space.
Yeah, they do, and it just gives them that cushion, but Frankie Wilson will never settle, and Simon Dix the same, and as you can see from the sideline, they're as energetic as ever, and screaming and shouting, and as he's arguing for a throw in there, but they will continue to try their best to keep the intensity up, and if Northern Ireland now will be thinking if they can get a third goal, it will really see them through.
McFeely stayed onside there.
Substitution for Northern Ireland is number 9, Shane Hawkey, coming on for number 14, Keelan Millen.
Well, we just got confirmation sent to us as it was announced here. Shane Hawkey, who plays for Cliftonville, of course, is the player that has come on as Northern Ireland almost worked their way in behind.
Yeah, my sources haven't let me down, thankfully, but Shane Hawkey, so hopefully he does well, and another Cliftonville Academy player.
It's always good to keep you on your toes when you're given a team sheet with a player that isn't on it, who's introduced as a substitute, but that's how quickly we work here anyway. We've been able to identify him, so another young Cliftonville prospect on the pitch. Pass working through his wheels, who have just got off the hook at one end now, trying to do something special at the other, and I tell you what, they so nearly did, but that is remarkable by Brown, stretching a big paw out to push it over the bar. And Gawain Daffod, he thought he was guaranteed a goal there.
We were right behind that, and that was an exceptional finish. Again, comes from probably Northern Ireland's defence being too deep, and when they're so deep, then the midfield's not there. It's easy for Wales to get shots at goal, but it was a superb strike, and he did everything right, and a superb save from Rian Brownie. He hasn't had much to do, but what he's had to do, he's done really, really well.
Well, it does show you the quality that is in the Welsh ranks, and it also shows you a bit about the character too, because easily heads could go down and they could have a long old night of it, but they're still firing away, and this was destined for the top corner.
Yeah, it was a superb strike, and he did so well just to get that flick and get it over the bar, and that really will help keep Northern Ireland on top, because if Wales had scored there, it would have been a big opportunity for them to get back in the game.
Another stoppage in play after that challenge, and Tosh is back down on the ground again. Teammates around him just checking on his welfare as Wales do the same for Kirkhoff.
Yeah, I would like to see the challenge back. I think the referee gave a free kick to Wales, but I'm not sure how much contact there was, or who committed the foul really.
You can see it again here. Pass came through, Kirkhoff stretching, and well, the free kick, as you say, was given to Wales. Was there much in it for you?
I think I would have just played on. I mean, obviously the fact that the two players have gone down injured, there maybe was more to it than what the video suggested, but the ball seemed to go to one of the Wales forward players, and I would have preferred to keep playing. Certainly don't think that was a foul. If I was a Wales player and I was 2-0 down, I would have preferred to have played on and try to get an attack.
Well, they have the free kick anyway. Tosh is gingerly making his way over to the touchline, where he'll meet the player he met in that challenge.
Again, Northern Ireland for me can be a little bit higher there. I think they spread out. They're almost letting Wales dictate to them where they want them to be.
Williams dinking it in. Any sort of touch, and Northern Ireland are in bother there, and that comes to what you're saying about where that line is positioned.
Yeah, it's my biggest bugbear. If you get in a bad starting position, it's nearly impossible to defend, and it was a great ball in, and I'm not sure which Wales forward it was went for it, but they really should have scored, and it all comes from Northern Ireland starting too deep, and when the good delivery comes in with a team in the wrong starting position, you're in a bit of trouble.
Well, just a reminder that Wales are not out of it yet, as if that really needed to be said, but that's a naughty challenge, isn't it? And Kirkhoff is going to pick up a yellow card.
I don't think it's his first foul in the game, and I'm not sure it'll be the last. It's just interesting to see, the likes of Kirkhoff. Physically, Northern Ireland don't have anybody on the same size as him and sort of strength, but to be fair to Northern Ireland, they've handled the physical part of the game well, and they seem to be trying to probably have slightly more in output of skill, and they've got the ball down well and used a good surface here.
Just another stoppage as Northern Ireland again dealing with a man down, and is it Tosh again?
Yeah, I think it is, and to be fair on that occasion, I think Frankie Wilson will be really frustrated, because Wales will know that that's been one of Northern Ireland's brightest sparks, and it was a bit of a naughty challenge. He probably thought he could get away with it on the edge of Northern Ireland's box, but it was a poor challenge, and again, you don't want to see the game turn into that sort of nasty element where Wales are losing 2-0 and they start to kind of stop playing the ball and start trying to take out men, and hopefully we won't see too much of that in the latter stage of the game here.
Well, Tosh will certainly feel as though he's been through the wars, but once again back on his feet. And this time he doesn't need to leave the pitch, because the challenge produced a yellow card, so
You're well read up in the rule book.
just could feel somebody wondering that. So I thought I would share it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a really good pass. Whiteman just took it in a stride, couldn't get the cross off though. Wales defending diligently. Daffod deeper than he'd ideally like to be, I'm sure. Williams not able to get away from Scullion. And Whiteman taking the long road round. And then playing a sensible pass to McCart. That is maybe sometimes where you see the maturity of certain players, isn't it? Because you dribble past a couple, you can get carried away and try run rings around everybody, but just keep the ball, do the simple things well.
Yeah, especially when you're 2-0 up, and I guess that's where playing with, you know, as you say, there's been quite a lot of the players here that have been on the fringes of first teams, and nights like tonight help gain them that experience, and just making little decisions like that, because it can make a big difference in the output of a game.
Wales have 2 players ready to come on. Jake Morris is the number 7, and we're going to have another Josh Williams on the pitch. Josh Stanley Williams is the number 18 who's introduced.
Isn't that wonderful?
Keeps you on your toes. Kirkhoff, who we've just seen yellow carded moments ago, makes way, and the other player to head off is Tom Tweedy. So yes, maybe it will be a supporters song for some of the Welsh contingent. There's only 2 Josh Williams. One of them finding the other through that man who was brought down, and Wales have a free kick in a very promising area.
Yeah, Wales have come into the game, and again, bad poor position for Northern Ireland to give away the free kick, and I think it was McCart just fouled in there, and it was probably unnecessary because it didn't look like Wales were going anywhere. It gives Wales now a big opportunity to score. I'd like to see Northern Ireland putting more men on the wall, but I suppose it's the goalkeeper's decision. But with only 3 on the wall, there's plenty of space for the Josh James Williams to have a shot at goal.
O'Connor's key Nomads player bends it round, but didn't have enough whip on it to either meet the runners or challenge the keeper.
Yeah, it was a nice strike of the ball, but the direction of it was a long way off the target. And so the Wales coach will be disappointed in that, because that was a big opportunity, and with only 3 men on the wall and on the edge of the box, you've got to be trying to test the goalkeeper, and those are the sort of chances that Wales need to be taking if they want to get back in the game.
Well, with half an hour to go, Northern Ireland fans will be most pleased with what they have seen. But for Wales, they could be heading to a similar conclusion to what Northern Ireland did in their opening game, and that's defeat. Unless they're able to find a bit of inspiration, they're going to have to push higher, and you would imagine then Northern Ireland will fancy their chances on the counter-attack.
Yeah, well, that's where the likes of Whiteman and Tosh and McStravick should gain joy if Northern Ireland can play these balls over the top, and we'll see how high this...
Well, McFeely almost doing just that. Not as he has been. He's impressed me, the goalkeeper, I must say, was out like a flash. Robust, the tackle that sparks an attack. McFeely winning the ball, and Wales cut out of position. Whiteman sending it across. The killer touch wasn't on the first one, won't be on the second either. Northern Ireland going for a 3rd time, and that won't prove lucky. McFeely not able to reach it, and Not will send it forward for Wales to try and move quickly, whilst Northern Ireland have more players in a higher position. Yeah,
it was a superb tackle from Aidan Kelly at the halfway line, and I think McStravick maybe could have went and gone himself, but tries to lead it to McFeely, and it's a big chance for Northern Ireland. I think it was a superb ball in then from Whiteman, and Northern Ireland would be disappointed not to have gotten the end of it.
Wales looking across the line there. McStravick onside, showing nimble feet, and just caught betwixt and between then, really. Was he going to get a shot away? Was he going to play the pass? In the end, he did neither.
Yeah, superb feet work. He's been a real thorn in the Welsh side, and I think when you're in that position, you've just got to hit it. I think he probably felt that there was a couple of bodies that may have blocked it, but yeah, and you end up coming back and playing the ball backwards. You'd be better having buying a lottery card and seeing if it goes in.
That was a late challenge. Josh Stanley Williams leaving his mark there, and might just count himself a little lucky that he's not going to be yellow carded for that.
Very much so. I think that was as clear a booking as tonight as we've seen, and again, just talking about the first half was played in good spirits, but certainly some of the Welsh players have started to leave the foot in here, which is not what you like to see.
Some frustration showing as Northern Ireland prepare to make 2 more changes. Lucky McGreevy and Jack Montgomery are ready to be introduced. And Tosh will be the first of those to make way. McGreevy, the Glenavon youngster, will be on for him. And even though the number hasn't been shown, I think McFeely knows that his number is coming up.
Yeah, two players that played really well for Northern Ireland in the first half, and I'd be a little bit surprised to see them come off. It's still 27 minutes to go, but McGreevy is a player I've seen a couple of times at Glenavon. It's on the bench there and will be a good danger for them. It gives opportunities for other players, and it looks like Aaron Whiteman's been put over to the left-hand side, so it'll be interesting to see how they can operate differently with him on that side.
Well, about McGreevy, quick player, competed in the final of the All-Ireland 100-metre sprint. Just what you want to hear as a defender, isn't it?
Yeah, with your tired legs and you're coming on. No, he's a good player, and he's been on the bench for Glenavon a number of times recently, and he had a fantastic effort actually last week against Scotland. He was very unlucky not to have scored.
Stravik already got one, was looking for another, and was shown away from goal and blocked.
Yeah, McStravik's been probably one of Northern Ireland's best players tonight. He's getting into great pockets of space, and to be fair, Northern Ireland have found him well, and he just seems to have so much confidence, and since the goal he just wants to get on the ball all the time.
Montgomery on the corner. Wales can only clear as far as the edge of their box. Montgomery with a chance to get it in, the Linfield Academy player. Scullion didn't have the power. It's ricocheting around, and is it going to be a penalty? It is. It looked a stonewall decision for the referee, and Northern Ireland now have a big chance to kill the contest.
Yeah, it was a good delivery again from Northern Ireland. Wales didn't deal with it well. I think it was Aidan Kelly who was about to score, and he was did well to get his body in front and get poor probably challenge from the Welsh defender. We'll just see it back here, but
Dolman it was that made the challenge, and you're right, Kelly was preparing to pull the trigger.
Yeah, it's a stonewall penalty. I think Kelly was ready to line up the left foot and put it in, and Dolman's just too rash. But big opportunity now for Aaron Whiteman to finalise and win the game.
So Aaron Whiteman, who scored against Scotland, has his penalty saved, not guessing the right way, and Northern Ireland are kept to the 2 goals for the time being, as Wales refuse to give up.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously he did the right thing. He hit the target. It's just one of those things. It was a good save from the Welsh goalkeeper. Not so. Northern Ireland will have to keep going, but at least it keeps it interesting for us neutrals.
He's one of the players that will, I'm sure, be very pleased with his individual performance as much as it's all about the collective. He gets the right way, and goalkeepers will often tell you, the strikers are the favoured ones to score from a penalty, but as a keeper, you've got to get the right way. He did that, and he held on to it.
I think Arnold may be a bit disappointed. I don't know whether he changed his mind later on, but he didn't just probably show the same level of conviction as he would have liked, and didn't put it as far into the corner as he would have hoped. And fortunately for him, the keeper guessed the right way, as you say, and it was well saved.
Williams on to Dafford. Northern Ireland's defenders converge on each other there as they nod it back to Brown. And he put some distance on the kick up over the half. Whiteman spurning that chance from the spot, was on the ball momentarily there as the hosts try and unpick Wales, and that time marginally judged to have been offside.
Yeah, it's probably frustrating for him now, and I think that there's sort of decisions that really can push you over the edge, but he's just got to get himself back in the game, get a couple of touches and show the quality that he's got.
Looked like a nudge in the back of McCoubrey there. Referee didn't think so. Piper. I think Northern Ireland will have something to say if it leads to a goal, but no time to dwell on things. That pass was pulled back, but nearly working out. And in the end, they get away anyway. I just don't think Piper was expecting that to reach him. And if he had have read it a little better, he would have been in a prime position to capitalise.
Yeah, absolutely, because I don't think McCoubrey had covered himself in glory with his defending. I think he had sort of switched off too and had left his marker, and nobody sort of seemed to expect the ball to come across, but I think just his first touch let him down a little bit there.
Montgomery trying the mazy run was cut out there. I have to say I've enjoyed the little fact file that the Northern Ireland Schools FA have sent across for us that informs me that Montgomery in his spare time dad-handed gardening. just the sort of things you don't expect to learn as a commentator, but always appreciative of the diligence and the effort and the hard work of all the schools really to help shine a light on the players we're watching.
Yeah, it's interesting finding other little things about the players, and we used to have to fill out those questionnaires for the programme, and I was wise to the fact that information would be made public, so I didn't reveal anything too embarrassing, although some people started writing essays, and of course the most interesting things were selected for the programme type of thing, so we always had a good laugh when it came out, and a couple of players didn't realise that it was the information was going to be shared. I don't know what they thought, where they thought the information was going to go.
Just trusting. Bouncing around, but the ball belted away. Wales will get it back again. Well, so they thought. Whiteman, blistering pace. Wales have been ripped open. Whiteman can't find a spot. Well, he did all the hard work. It was extraordinary from him to rob Wales of the ball, to tear through them, but he just couldn't find that corner, and maybe the kidology of the keeper did just enough to put him off.
Yeah, it was a superb run from Whiteman there, and he showed all his quality.
Well, he's onside again here, but plays come back, and the referee is saying there was a head injury there for Scullion, and that's why he's made that decision.
I think I would like to have seen my winger go through on goal and then deal with it after, but no, I think Aaron did everything right there. Great first touch and got in, and I think maybe he could have possibly shot in the left foot because his touch took him onto his left foot, and he sort of tried to run around the ball, and to be fair, the defender got back well, and Not and Neds came out and sort of closed down the angle well, but he'd be disappointed he wasn't able to finish there, because with his quality, he probably had a couple of opportunities to score tonight.
Yeah, he's showing his versatility, isn't he? Because he was on the right side in the first half, he's now on the left side in this second half, and denied from the spot, and then just wide, so he'll be hoping he gets another nibble at it. Maybe the third time will be the charm. Not that Wales will be handing out any more opportunities. It's a great angle of it. I mean, he just terrorises the defence, and whether he feels the pressure of the player coming behind him or whether the keeper does just enough to distract him, he'll be, I'm sure, a little disappointed that didn't find its way into the goal.
His first touch is exceptional to get past. It's the second one that sort of pushes him more towards his left side that makes it difficult, I think.
Showing his strength there. Was it nudging the back? Referee says no. The shot takes a deflection, and Northern Ireland have the corner, and some of the Wales players are asking about a free kick that wasn't awarded there.
No, I'm telling you, Aaron's a strong boy, and that certainly wasn't a free kick. He does well in the physical duel, and he showed both his attributes, both his pace and his strength really reflected there. And I think it's just his finishing he needs to.
Corner comes in. It was a swing and a miss from Scullion, and then Whiteman sends it over. Well, credit actually has to go to Dolman, because it was the shoulder to shoulder. He ended up on the ground after that, coming together with Whiteman, but he was the one that made the block, so he didn't have time to feel sorry for himself, and he didn't. Yeah,
he did well. He's had a tough night tonight with some of Northern Ireland's best players have sort of stayed out that side on him, but he did well and he stuck to his task. It was a very good play from Aaron Whiteman to push him off the ball and after his good burst of speed. But I think tonight he just hasn't probably, he's had a couple of chances to shoot, and his finishing is normally quite good, but he just hasn't quite managed to score just yet.
A couple more subs on the way for Wales the next time there's a stoppage, but Northern Ireland are attacking Montgomery. Never got the power behind it.
It's very hard when you try to use the outside of your boot in that way to get that power, and goalkeeper not yet again read it well, and he's had a very good game in goals, as Ray and Brown with all he's had to do in the Northern Ireland goals.
Scullion, McStravick. Oh, and I would just worry about that one, because McStravick has gone down off the ball, nobody around him, and has he just twisted himself here as he tried to control that and play it? Innocuous in how it happened, but sometimes they can be the nasty ones, and it will be a little break here whilst they make sure that he's okay. Just a twist of the knee, I think, and he's going to pick himself back up again. Always a cause for concern when you see a player go down off the ball like that, because it could be a muscle injury or something long lasting.
Yeah, you always worry about the likes of the knees and the ACLs, particularly on these 3G pitches. And thankfully, it looks like he's been okay, and he's been a big player for Northern Ireland. In the absence of Patrick Kelly, I think Extravic's done really well tonight and has performed well.
Wayne Dafford making way as Ethan Hayes comes on, and Harrison Page is introduced with 16 minutes to go as Ellis takes his place on the bench. Lots of youngsters running around the side of the pitch there, and they are very eager to try and be the best ball boy in town, and they've all been disappointed because the ball's bounced over the fence and they can't get near it, which is just a fun little side attraction here. But full attention back to the pitch. I'm sure you can hear them, all the young fans watching on, and a good night for those young Northern Irish supporters here, coming in, seeing a good game of football, and as things stand, seeing their team head to victory. It's been a difficult night for Wales. They've played their part, but I don't think they can really have any grievances with being behind in this match, Bobby.
No, Northern Ireland have probably been the better team, and as I said, whenever you're under the caution, you get a couple of chances like Wales did when it was 0-0, they had to take those, and since then Northern Ireland have taken full control and will probably be disappointed that they haven't maybe scored more, although in saying that, Wales did have one or two good chances themselves, and Wayne Brown made a superb save. I think it might have been at 1-0, was it? So it's been an interesting game, and Northern Ireland will be delighted if they can hold on to the lead.
Well, Brown momentarily wasn't pleased with Kelly deciding to lump it out, but they were quick to give each other a low five and get on with things again. Good communication, eventually seeing through at the back.
Yeah, it was well defended by Kelly. If in doubt, just get rid of it.
That should stay in for Wales. Well, I say that, it's bounced and gathered pace, but they've done remarkably well. Harvey Singh has worked tirelessly, but ended up pulling that one slightly back, and Northern Ireland, by virtue of McGreevy's challenge, have conceded the free kick.
Yeah, it's pretty sloppy from McGreevy. There's absolutely no need to make that free kick, and with the height that Wales have, and as you just see now, a number of the defenders coming into the box, they're the sort of opportunities that Northern Ireland definitely don't want to be given away.
Wind picking up, but can make defending these set pieces perilous. Head tennis ensues as Montgomery tries to clear the danger. Extravic sending it on, and Wales relieved to see the header make its way into the box and back into the gloves of the goalie. Well, the coming weeks will most certainly be interesting. By the end of March, Northern Ireland's campaign will be over, and then it'll be a waiting game for them to see how everybody else fares. Wales have a longer road to travel and a bit of a break before their next game early in April. Chance for them to gather themselves, perhaps.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why Northern Ireland schoolboys always seem to play their games much earlier. Maybe it's just that's what they like to try and do with the school schedule. And I suppose that's the better thing to do, because the priority for most of these boys is getting their A levels in the coming months, and getting these games was always a brilliant distraction from that. But you don't want to be running into April and May trying to still play your games and do the exams. So it's a good opportunity now for them to enjoy this last part of their school experience.
It's a wonderful bit of perspective as well, Bobby, because we can all get wrapped up in 90 minutes of football, but we're watching schoolboys football, and very much their education is a huge part of it. I'll ask you about that now, actually, as it's gone out. How do you find that balance when you're studying? Obviously your school want you to do as well as you can in your exams, but equally you have big games like this.
That's difficult. I mean, I was up at 3 o'clock this morning trying to do university work, so I know what it feels like. That's my excuse if the commentary wasn't good tonight. But no, it's difficult, and obviously some of the lads, they probably had to miss a couple of days school last week. But I think it's you have to have a lot of self-discipline. And
we'll just break off that to see if Wales can find a way back, and it's another wonderful save from Brown. I mean, his highlight reel alone is going to be something else. Morris, the latest player to be denied.
Yeah, superb save from Brown, and really, for all the domination that Northern Ireland have had, the chances that Wales have had in Brown has really helped make sure that they've stayed in front, because it probably wasn't the smartest defender from Northern Ireland, and they allowed the Wales forwards to get free, and it was a great strike, and Brown does well to tip it over the bar.
Well, that'll be a good reception for Liam McStravick as he makes his way off. Score of Northern Ireland's second goal, expertly lobbing the keeper, and on comes Max Greer. Parent club's Larney's on loan at Knockreed at the moment, getting valuable minutes in the championship. On defensive duties here is Wales send it in with menace. The keeper again reacting quickly, and if they don't score tonight, they will wonder how they haven't scored tonight, because they have had their moments, but somehow Brown has the answers.
Yeah, well, this comes back to when you need to take score the penalty and get the third goal, because Wales are putting on the pressure, and it's a great save from Brown again, and I think this is where another one of my bugbears has been subs come on and they're not really sure who they're marking. And I think Max Greer comes on and he's sort of running into the box looking to see who's meant to be marking, and I'm not sure which player it was, but they ended up winning the header and nearly scoring, so hopefully for the next corner he'll know who it is he's meant to pick up.
I think it was Josh Stanley Williams with the header, and then Morris was trying to get it on the rebound, took a bit of a knock there, but no appeals for anything more, anything of that nature. So Wales still knocking the door. If they were to score now, it would lead to a nervy ending for Northern Ireland, and would most certainly give the visitors a bit of belief. Last week Northern Ireland felt they had the lion's share of the chances and were thwarted by an excellent goalkeeper. Wales maybe couldn't lay that claim, but again they definitely will look at a goalkeeper who's made their life a living hell by playing so well.
Yeah, absolutely, and goals change momentum, and I'm sure Wales will be feeling if they were able to get one or two of those goals that would really have given them the confidence to go on and try and get an equaliser. And Northern Ireland need to be careful, because Wales, as you say, haven't won the tournament in a number of years, but if they give up this number of opportunities and defend so deep against a team like England, they're probably going to score a couple of goals.
The train of thought there between the two players, Singh and Hayes. And Northern Ireland will happily eat up moments like this just to take a bit of the sting out of the game and remove any of that momentum that Wales might have started to gather.
Yeah, this is where your game experience comes in, and I think for a lot of these lads, they're probably getting to an age at 17 or 18 where it's becoming too easy to play in the reserves. The reserve league is getting younger and younger, and these games are invaluable for them to play against other good players at their own age.
Oh, that's a stretch he was able to make, but not, in fairness to him, was able to make it. We'll say he knew what he was doing there. It looked a close run thing.
Yeah, the less said about that, the better. I think there's a lot of hesitation in that, and it's not ideal for a goalkeeper, but he wasn't taking the same chance there anyway. But he did well. He obviously just struggled to get his feet sorted the first time, and his starting position's been superb all night. But it's just about making that decision quickly, whether you're going to come out and clear it or let it run into your box.
Well, the audible high-pitched excitement of young fans anytime the ball comes this side of the pitch is an opportunity for them to get on and return it.
I don't think they realise that they have to return the ball to play. Some of them are trying to stick it in their school bag to take it home. Well,
the Ballina captain Richard Clark was quick to give the orders there, and they gave the ball to him. He's part of Northern Ireland's coaching staff.
Surprised he wasn't telling them to hide the ball and keep the time wasting going.
I noticed he was on the pitch earlier practicing penalties. Don't tell him, he's a little too old for that sort of keeper now to be involved at this level. Doing a good job for his club side, of course. Opening up from distance, why not? Indeed, at this stage in the game, Greer seeing a side of goal and trying his luck, but didn't get the requisite power. Not a bad touch there from Piper, a little unlucky not to get spun on that after gathering it on his heel. It's been an entertaining game, hasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, and there's been plenty of chances for both sides, and in the most part the game's been played in the right spirit, other than about a 5 or 10 minute spell where Wales decided they'd start trying to take out a few of Northern Ireland's best players. But it's been a good game, and hopefully I still think there'll be another goal in it yet, and Wales are starting to really put on the pressure and have shown the talent that they've got.
I think frustration certainly is a part of the game, and maybe at times a young player can get the better of you, and you learn as you go, I would imagine. But Wales have done their best to try and steady the ship, and have come mightily close to, at the very least, finding a consolation goal here. But Brown has put on a goalkeeping clinic. Well, he was going to let it go out. He changed his mind. I think now he might just regret it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting one. I think McFeely was having a really good game for Northern Ireland up front, and Luke McGreevy's just struggled to probably get into the game so far, and it was one of those where you go to leave it or you're going to take it. But you mentioned about him being a 100-metre sprint champion, and there's been a couple of those balls that have come over the top that I would just love to see him really putting the foot down and to see that speed, and he could have probably put the defenders and goalkeeper under a little bit more pressure, but certainly a good hold-up play there.
Singh. Williams ran out of room. Whiteman trying the cute little step over and turn, didn't work out from there, and that pass with pace is played in front of him. He'll continue to press, but Wales progress in midfield. Williams. Hayes has taken up a position just at the edge of the box there. It wasn't quite reaching him, but just his presence was enough to force the clearance.
Yeah, it was another good ball from Wales, and they've certainly continued to try and play, and they haven't given up here. And I'd say this could still be an exciting finish if they can get a goal here.
Dolman. And Brown had it scouted the whole way. And he's in no rush to play it at this stage in the match.
But I think, as you said, you just mentioned about Richard Clark being on the bench, and indeed the Wales coach Mark Lloyd-Williams. It's great that for both clubs how to have such good role models of players that have had good playing careers, and I think Richard Clark was actually a Centenary Shield player, a number of years ago too. So it's great for these players to learn off such good experienced pros.
He'd love us making him sound really old, won't he?
Still got plenty of years left in him. Yeah, he's a very good player at Balmallard, and I'd say there'll be another big focus of his will be trying to get them promoted this year.
You can't unscramble an egg, Bobby. Williams. Singh. Williams again. Lovely little nutmeg there from Hayes, and the pass shows real intelligence. It's a very good move, and Brown is down on top of it. And Mark Lloyd-Williams, I can tell you, has just launched a water bottle into his dugout in frustration. He cannot believe they haven't scored there.
Yeah, I mean, the defending from Northern Ireland, particularly probably down this right-hand side, hasn't been great in the second half, and Josh Williams got far too much time on the ball to drive through, and then after the nutmeg, it's a lovely pass, but again, I think McCoubrey's got to tuck in as a right back and force the ball wide, and it's too easy for Northern Ireland to be giving up those opportunities. And as I say, if it wasn't for some of Brown's inspired saves, those sort of chances could be to equalise a game that Northern Ireland had, control. So they've got to try and manage the game and just get into better defensive positions.
In fairness to Lloyd-Williams, all-time leading goal scorer in the Welsh Premier League, 319 goals. He knows a thing or two about finding the net, so probably when you see a striker not take the chance, even if it isn't clear-cut for us mere mortals, you can understand the thoughts that may go through a manager's mind.
Yeah, I'm sure he's thinking he would just love to bring himself on and be in some of those positions, even just to finish those, because Wales have got into good positions and created chances, and they've just probably slightly lacked that finishing touch. And when they have found it, they've found an inspired goalkeeper in Rian Bryan.
Kelly flipping it forward. Neat touch to take it away. As Wales are the team finishing on the front foot, but Northern Ireland crucially off the 2-goal lead.
There's an example where we'd love to see Luca McGreevy really sprinting down the Wales defenders there. You know, they're getting probably too much time to open up and play long, and if Luca could lead the press and sprint at some of those defenders, then his midfielders can come up behind it, and that's probably what Northern Ireland were doing. McFeely was on, it was allowing them to get so many turnovers, because it was forcing the Welsh defenders into probably rushing more on the ball and having to try and play quicker.
Goes into pulling these squads together, and hearing from the managers earlier, you get the sense Northern Ireland have had a long run up to this, the way they approach it all those Sunday mornings, which is such a commitment for the players to make the trip to Meadowbank and to put in the hours of training. And Wales, well, they had to start from scratch really with all things considered, so it's been a difficult journey, but an enjoyable one, I'm sure, for the young players making it this far, coming through the trials and everything else and all the matches, to now be on this stage in the first match of this year's Centenary Shield for them, as they try and put something back towards the Northern Ireland goal. Piper was denied, and that's crossed the line and will be behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, I mean, the Wales have certainly played really well, and that just shows you when you're winning 2-0, you know, you really need to try and get the third goal. The couple of chances that Aaron Whiteman had, but just super, you know, I think McCart will be disappointed to lose the first header, but it was a brilliant block from Kelly, and he's played well tonight at the back, and both him and McCart have won a lot of headers and blocks, and with them, the two of them alongside Brown and Nats have really helped see Northern Ireland through tonight, because outside of those three, you know, they probably haven't won as many physical duels as they'd have liked.
As we saw a moment ago, confirmation, a minimum of 3 additional minutes to be played here. Whiteman, Northern Ireland looking to put the icing on the cake. That's just pulled a little too high for McGreevy to do anything with.
Yeah, I would like to see maybe McGreevy trying to come to the back post there, because I think one of the other forwards, maybe was it Max Greer, was in at the front post. Was good run by Whiteman and a good delivery, and unfortunately weren't able to get in the end of it.
Northern Ireland hoping to preserve a clean sheet, none more than that man, who I would imagine, Bobby, is up there for your consideration of man of the match. If I was to put you under pressure to pick one, who would you go for?
Yeah, I would say Rian Bryan would be right up there, but I think I'm going to go with Liam McStravick. I think he really controlled the game, and some of the little positions he got himself into and showed real class and quality, and he listened to my advice about the goalkeeper being off his line and chipping him, so I'll go with Liam McStravick, although Tosh also had a very strong game.
Ever modest Bobby Burns. Free kick to Northern Ireland.
I don't think he heard me from up here, so I'll have to give him all the credit, but it was a superb finish and really rounded off his all-round performance.
Well, the former Warren Point Town player sent hurtling there, was it? Or was it Mackay? In fact, it was
Mackay, yeah.
Bundled over. Thought it was hockey for a moment, but no, Mackay, the Dundela boy, bundled over.
Interesting now to see whether Northern Ireland try and put the ball in the box so they work for the corner flag, and with goal difference not really meaning much, I suppose they'll probably feel that it's not really necessary to try and push for the third goal. I think Aaron Whiteman himself doesn't have a clue what he wants to use.
That is the body language. Oh, it's a brilliant ball, and there's the goal that does put the icing on the cake. Donald Scullion applying the finishing touch. Whiteman's delivery was pulled back, and it was a simple finish, but he still had to make it. Northern Ireland 3, Wales 0.
Yeah, Whiteman wasn't sure whether to put the ball in or not, but it was a superb delivery. and I think Montgomery did really well to pull it back, and Scullion was in the right position, and talked about making those runs. The third man run into the box is so often not tracked, and I think Scullion, probably one of the players that went under our radar a bit, but I think he's had a really good game. And when Kelly and McCart have won the headers, he's been the one picking up the second balls and won a lot of good physical tackles, and the goal is welcome reward for his performance, and a perfect night all round for Northern Ireland, but it certainly hasn't been a comfortable 3-0 win.
Wales sleeping at the post somewhat there. Montgomery wasn't bright thinking from him to put it back into that dangerous area, and Scullion nodding it in, the last contribution of the game, the last meaningful one anyway, as the full-time whistle sounds. Northern Ireland responding in style after last week's disappointment in Scotland with a thumping 3-0 win over Wales, who had their chances, who made Northern Ireland's goalkeeper work very hard at times, but in the end it's a glossy scoreline, and more importantly for Frankie Wilson, it's 3 points on the board. They're off the mark.
Yeah, exactly. It was a brilliant win for Northern Ireland. It's a results-based business, and as you say, all the Sunday morning sessions in Meadowbank, which can be tough at time, are worth it in nights like this when you get the win in front of a home crowd. And I think all in all they definitely deserved the win, and apart from probably a 10-15 minute period at the end there where they invited pressure onto themselves, they were certainly the better team, and they created probably quite a few chances and could have scored more, but a good performance, and certainly plenty that they still can have to work on.
Well, the holders have shown us why some still talk about them being one of the favourites. Northern Ireland have such a pedigree in this competition, and they really turned on the style tonight. Yeah,
they did well. I think, Aidan Kelly captained them well at the back alongside McCart, and from that there on they sort of built up well. And as you said, Donald Scullion I thought was good in the midfield, and McStravick created a lot of good chances for them, although for all their good play, that they think that Rian Brown still had a lot of good saves to make, and they'll be disappointed that they conceded so many chances. So good win, but certainly plenty more to work on.
Well, 3-0 the full-time score. Let's see the 3 goals. And McFeely with the first.
Yeah, he was very good tonight. I was surprised probably to see him coming off. Great first touch and a good goal, and I think he, his work rate and endeavour even off the ball was something that really helped Northern Ireland win the ball back tonight.
Yeah, the young Coleraine player receiving the ball, let Singh come across him, and Singh could not stop him from putting it past Knott and putting Northern Ireland in front. It was 1-0 at half-time. This was the quality that doubled the lead from McStravick.
Yeah, it was a great finish from him. It was a lot of forwards don't make that run. It was a good ball over the top, and I think it was maybe a header, was it? But he makes that run in behind. He spots the goalkeeper off his line. It's a really good composed finish, and he was a thorn in the Welsh side all night. He was constantly picking up the ball in tight areas and doing little bits of skill and finding the space to make the passes.
And then we were asking, what would Whiteman do with this delivery? Would they play it into the corner? Not at all. He put it into the box. Montgomery had the wherewithal to pull it back, and Scullion glanced it in to give Northern Ireland a night to remember.
Yeah, that added a little bit of gloss to the finish, and I think Wales would be disappointed, to lose the runner at the back post, and when it was cut back, there was a lot of the Welsh defenders sort of standing watching, and they hadn't anticipated the ball coming back in. But fair play to Scullion, he got himself in the right area and finished well, and that was a welcome reward for a really good performance for him tonight.
So Northern Ireland and Scotland now joint top of the group. Remember, it's not about goal difference, it's all about who has the most points at the end, and you can share the spoils at the end of the competition. So we're at the very early stages, but after the first game, Wales find themselves in the bottom pile for now. Plenty of time for them to change that, however. And great to see in the last couple of minutes some of the pictures being taken with players enjoying a moment with their families and their fans. And speaking of enjoying things, we've lots of football still to enjoy in the inspiresport Centenary Shield this year. Northern Ireland versus England, and then away to the Republic of Ireland in the coming weeks, and Wales's matches taking place in April, away to Scotland, home against England and the Republic of Ireland. And our next match brought to you live is that one from Dublin, Republic of Ireland against Scotland.
Yeah, it should be another good game, and there'll be plenty of very tight matches in this tournament, and obviously we haven't really got to see England and the Republic of Ireland yet, so it'll be interesting to see what they can bring to the tournament. But it's always a very competitive environment and a great learning experience for all these lads, and indeed just to get a chance to wear the Northern Ireland shirt and have their family and all the kids here tonight. So it's a great occasion and a game that's played in good spirits on a good pitch, and great to see the fantastic facilities tonight at Harland Wood Welders.
Well, everybody I'm sure will have had an eye on this to get an early scouting report on future opponents, but what a night it was, especially if you're a Northern Ireland fan. The full time score here from Blanchflower Park is Northern Ireland 3, Wales 0. Thank you so much for joining us for this one. Thank you, Bobby Burns. From me, Michael Clark, and the rest of the team, all that is left to say is have a very good evening. Goodbye.